Well, what a day. Welcome back to Dogging It. We've been busy today, Melina, putting out a lot of content, my man.
We started the first one like 14 hours ago now. Got up at
I don't think people
6
know that.
6:30 to record. Yeah. Yeah.
Woke up super early, recorded a reel or two, did some fun stuff. And today's day one of the Turning Stone tournament. First event of the year, pretty much. First big event. And it kind of started with our reel this morning where we were talking about I asked you if players should rack for other players.
Mm. Little
And
did I know that was gonna stir the pot, son.
did you get any phone calls about that?
I got a lot of messages about that particular
Oh,
topic.
did you?
Yeah.
Did
But
Mike
I
Zuglin?
Mike thoroughly hates me from a whole other issue of an online Calcutta that happened a year or so
Hey,
ago. So
you know what I love about you is that for the most part, what do you got? A moth in there? Is that a
it's like a
bat?
fly. It's like a fly in here, son. Need like some ninja
Jeez.
skills to get this mofo. All right.
For the
Anyway, you were
most
saying?
part, there's certain people out there that you kind of do care if they hate you, and then there's other people that you just don't care, and you don't seem to care that Mike Zuglin hates you.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not losing sleep. I'll put it like that. So, yeah. To each their own. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And there's plenty. Listen, the list of people that have been blocked and that I'm sure that have blocked me is pretty long both ways. So, but come out here, you stick your neck on the line. You got an opinion that's public, and you live with it for better or worse. I could be Joey Ryan and just say, well, I like the players racking for each other, but then I don't like the players racking for each other. I could play both sides of the argument, but that's no fun.
Hey,
So
I'm a terrible racker, so I don't mind it, right? Because it's not even intentionally slugging people. It's the fact that my eyes right now, leaning over the rack, I have to be further away to be able to see well. So just leaning over the rack, I can't see the gaps anymore. It's not intentionally slugging anybody. It's just that's the way we roll. So hey, we got
everybody says
what's that?
that's what everyone who slugs wreck someone says. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see it there.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
guess we got about
Then
50
again, you're
people in
kind of
here
old
right
though.
now. Yeah.
My bad.
Can I handle the housekeeping? We got about 50 people in here right now across the different platforms, guys. Welcome. Do us a favor, just let us know if we sound okay. Actually, Paco says we sound good. What's up, Paco? Franco's in here. Welcome, Franco. Just let us know you can see and hear everything good. Shorty Dancer, what's up, man? We're actually going to try to get some feedback from you guys today. Some topics, maybe some ideas from you. We have a few things that we do want to talk about. And the first one is going to be Turning Stone and the actual event. So we goofed a little about the racking and, you know, what you thought about that this morning. But I understand that there was a players' meeting, and I understand Mike Zuglin laid down the law, and there will be no conflicts about the rack. Did you
What the
hear
hell
that?
does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Lay down the law.
I don't know.
What's the rule? It's plain and simple.
I,
What's the rule?
the rule was we're not going to have people 4 or 5 times checking the rack and arguing and this and that, and so there you
So then,
go.
what happens if? So is that the number that's too many times for someone to go check the rack? Four is the magic number, or
I
five?
think it's
Five's too
the
much.
over under is 4.5 on that.
So if you get to six, then they just got to accept it. Is that what I'm
I
hearing?
guess.
That sounds reasonable and fair,
Yeah.
right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't get it,
All right.
Joey.
We've beaten this. It's a dead horse right now, and we're still beating
We're
it.
like
Okay.
4 minutes
We
into the
don't
show.
like the
What do you
loser.
mean?
We don't like the loser rack format. Done and done. Turning Stone is still a prestigious event. It's one of the nicest events I've ever played in. I don't know if you've been up there, Mike, but when you go in that arena and the way they have the table set up and they have the stands on the side, it's really nice. It is a really nice venue. And it also takes me back to one of my best pool memories, which wasn't even about pool. So I'm at Turning Stone and I rode up there with Mike Davis. Don't get on your phone. Listen to me. I hate when you do
Okay.
this.
Okay.
We're on a
All right.
show.
So
Respect our guests. So I ride up there with Mike Davis. Okay. I get knocked out of the tournament 2 and out. It was terrible. I played horrible. I lost to Keith McCready first round and a local guy second round. So anyway, I'm playing cards the rest of my time there. And so talking to Mike Davis, he's like, look, I play Strickland for fourth, fifth. And if I lose, I want to get right back on the road. So meet me in the lobby at 5 o'clock exactly. And he was being like, Mike's a super nice guy, but he's being real kind of pushy about this. Like
Everyone just
crank.
checks you, huh?
And I'm like,
Everyone.
hey, if you didn't have this attitude, you might actually beat Strickland. And he's like, just meet me in the lobby at 5. So I'm like, okay, fine. I go play cards. And while I'm playing cards, I'm playing blackjack. And I'm up $200 playing blackjack. And I said, you know what? I don't really want to leave here up $200. I either want to break even or make a score. So I'm a $25 blackjack player. You probably heard this story 5 times. I put 200 in the circle, right? I get a 6 and a 5. The dealer gets a 6 showing, and I'm like, oh man, now I got to go in my pocket, and now I'm going to leave down $200, right? Especially when I get my card and it's an ace. Doubled, I got an ace. I have 12. The dealer turns over the whole card, and it's a 5. So the dealer's got 11, takes a hit for 16, and then takes another hit for 22, and I barely won that hand. I almost had a heart attack. I won $400. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So I'm raking the money back, and I decide to leave 200 in there. I get blackjack right after it. I went on the biggest heater you've ever seen. I just left $200 in the circle, and I didn't take that out. I just left it in there. I said, the first hand I lose, I'm leaving. For 20 minutes, I didn't lose a hand. I didn't win every hand. We pushed the dealer. There was a shuffle or two in there, but I didn't lose any hands. And so I ended up winning $2,800 in like, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes or something. And
Nice,
I'm
Red.
10 minutes late getting back to the lobby, and there's Mike Davis, pissed off, just lost to Earl Strickland. Mike's ready to kill me. And Mike's like, where were you? And I'm like, don't worry, bro. I got gas. I got dinner. We're straight. But he still didn't talk to me for like 3 hours on the way home until he finally got over it. And he was pissed because he wanted to get back home and get rest because it was a big tournament in Waldorf, Maryland the next day. And I'm like, relax. Nobody can beat you there anyway. Sure enough, he wins the tournament the next day. But we kissed and made up. Everything was good. But that's my Turning Stone story. Beautiful venue, very professionally run. I know you don't like the break rule, but first tournament of the season, I'm excited to see what shakes out. I was actually sweating a couple of the matches, the Brandon Schuff Vitali match. Watched a little bit of that. I just watched this Landon Hollingsworth. Upstate Owl streaming it. And it's digitalpool.com has the brackets. God, I love Digital Pool. They sponsored us when we went out to Moscone. And any big tournament, you go on there, you get the brackets, the live scoring. It's super cool. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this event, Mike?
I think it's always top shelf when it comes to streaming. The quality of the video, the colorful commentary that you get alongside with
Northeast
it.
commentary, baby.
They don't lack personality, that's for sure. So, it's always it's never a dull moment. I know I heard when I was listening earlier that they had multiple tables streaming. I haven't seen them. I don't know where you can see them at, but I'm assuming they do, which is great. I wish the field was a little thicker, although it seems like it's real top heavy, and then maybe that kind of like top middle.
It's the haves and the have-nots, right? You got a bunch of world beaters, and then you got like locals. It seems like, or regional players.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's some other like decent talent, like Bucky. He's there every year. Guys in that 7-10 range. But for the most part, I think there's a lot of 600s, and then the big dogs that are there. So speaking of that, who is your pick? If you were going to pick one player right now to win the whole thing, who would you go with?
What are we going? Are we going just favorites? Is that what we're going off the top?
I'm just asking you for your pick.
All right, let me bring up
Of
some
course,
names
it's going
here.
to be a favorite because you always take chalk.
Well, let's see. Okay, so first of all, the guy who has won it a lot of times, I think it's like maybe tied for second, and Shane, he's not there after the drama that happened last year. Jason,
Wait.
as
Tell us about the drama that happened last year.
well,
Because I had never heard that story, but I'm sure a lot of other people. Can you tell that story?
we might see Shane in a couple of weeks. I don't know if I want to annoy him just yet. So
Come on,
no,
bring it.
I mean, listen, the guy won a considerable amount of money in the casino, and he hasn't told the story 18 times like your $2,800 score, but it was, let's say 20 times that amount. He did pretty good. Didn't really want to play anymore, it sounded like. Plus, he had plans to go to the Philippines thereafter. So he forfeited his match. And let's just say I don't think he's welcome back at Turning Stone, despite his long history with it. At least that's the last part as far as not being welcome back. That's what I've heard. So, um,
I tell you
but
what, you call me soft. That was not nearly the story you told me off air. You got soft on me, bro.
what do you mean? What's the story that I told you off air? I told you he got a big score.
Weekend at
He got
Bernie's, son.
okay. Well, yeah. Part of what I heard was he didn't want to pay the tag, so he's over there. I heard he was dressed up like he was at Weekend at Bernie's with putting on fake mustaches and wigs and trying to cash it, just try to stay under the threshold. Security caught wind. He may or may not have gotten kicked out. But again, that's all allegedly. So, and now Shane will probably never come back on the show because Joey wants to throw me under the bus live with 87 people
Come
watching.
on.
So,
It's the IRS. Nobody cares about that.
Jason's gonna be the odds-on favorite. I know him and Federer had a little dance last year. In this event as well. Obviously, Federer is Federer, but Jason just seems to have consistency here like no other human on earth. Someone was mentioning Earl. Earl actually does really well at turning stone as well. There's a few other guys who.
Is Earl there? I didn't see Earl in the bracket. Maybe I
No, he's not.
overlooked him.
He's
Yeah.
not. Sky's there. Oi's there. Let's see. Mora, Mika, Oscar, Billy, Johnny Archer, ironically enough, Wolford. So it's a Mosconi Cup rankings event. So there's a good, peppered amount of Europeans, international players, because guys are already here for the season for Derby coming up, and then the pre-Derby that's going on at Rail Yard right before the official Derby. So, if I'm picking someone, I like Federer and Jason are going to be everyone's pick to go and win as far as being up top. If I'm going to pick
Not mine.
someone, well, you'll listen. We did our draft, right? And you pick like Omar Al Shaheen in like the second round. So of course not yours. Okay. We know you like
I
to go
like
out on a limb.
Omar.
I'm okay, I tell you what, for mine, 9 ball, this format, I'm gonna go with Sky, snapping it off as my top level player. And if I'm going with someone maybe bottom, I don't want to say
Hold on.
bottom, but
Don't do
like
the dark horse yet. Don't do the dark horse. We're not doing
okay, you
dark
go.
horses.
You go,
Yeah, I'm
son.
going with Naoki Oi. There we have it. And I have no analysis or reason for this, but I just have a feeling. I have a
You made
feeling that
He's like the third highest Fargo. You made
well,
it. You made it
you know
seem
what?
like you were
Let
going
me
out
tell you something.
on a way limb
He
there.
he is literally one of the best players of the world in the world that people overlook. I think. I think people don't give him the credit that he deserves. I think it's more like the interview quality and the fun he brings to things. But we saw it out in Vegas. Somebody reminded me last show that we did where I said that who was it that Chua pushed out and Oi gave it back to him and Chua jumped the ball. It was actually the opposite. Oi pushes out. Chua gave it back to Oi. Oi jumps the ball and runs out.
We were
And
front row, weren't we? For that,
that was at
we were,
the Predator 10 World 10 ball. But Oi is just an amazing player, and I'm going with him. He's due for a win. I think he's going to win this event.
well, I don't know. I think the racking plays a big difference. Being able to adjust. I don't think there's like gamesmanship there. I feel like in this event more so than majority of other pro events because of
You
the
feel like
racking.
it needs to be like some guy who's got an edge, some gambler type of,
No, I just think guys can adjust a little better, or guys know how people move. So they can move back, so to speak, and needle a little bit and without causing too much drama. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
here's a
see.
good comment by Sensei Nate. Plays pool. Check it out.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fine and all, but he's the last time we saw Oi, let's say on a Sunday, which I mean, I'm just saying like the golf reference, right? On a Sunday, um, was probably the U.S. Open last year where he lost to Carlo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the semis. So he can go deep in a lot of events. Very, very capable player, especially in 9 ball more so than 10 ball. But yeah, I mean, who knows? It's
All right.
9 ball,
Who's your
man.
dark horse? Who's your dark horse? Like, give me
I'm going.
a. Okay.
I'm going with the regional player. I'm going with the guy who's been named as far as being on the Mosconi Cup radar without kind of like making a Mosconi Cup run, and it's not De
I'm not in
Leon.
this event.
It's not.
You weren't talking about me?
You're booking a flight. You're catching the red eye tonight. I'm actually going with Lucas. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his last name, but I'm going with
Werner.
Lucas. Yeah, yeah. I heard he's playing pretty sporty, and that's his neck of the woods around that
It is
area.
his
So
neck of the woods. I think that matters too. You know, there's
yeah,
probably a comfort level there, familiar people, familiar surroundings. I do like that pick. In fact, while we were picking our dark horse pick, I was literally writing Lucas on this paper to use as my dark
he
horse pick.
he
And you're like,
whispers
I'm
it.
taking Lucas.
He whispers it as we're about to go live. I had just in my head already made that selection. He whispers it, and then I have to go and check him like everybody does. Like Davis, I got to check him like Mike. You know,
Okay.
and
Okay. So tell me a 700 Fargo player in this event that has already snapped off a big tournament and beat a professional player in the finals. Can you do that when you're done checking your text?
I'm looking at the list of players here, just for the record.
Give me a
I'll
700 player. Give me a 700 player who's already snapped off a pro level event and beat a solid pro
okay.
in the
I got
finals.
it. I got it. You know who I'm going with? I'm going with Mile High, Del Sim. He actually is
That's
at six.
You're not going with
He's
him. That's
he's at
my
six.
pick.
He's at 697. What do you mean? Okay, for the
That is
record, we did not mention this part on the show whatsoever or
that
pre
was
talk at
I.
all.
That's my
You never
pick. I'm
told me.
giving you the
How
hints
am I supposed to know that? How am I a mind
because
reader,
you went
Joey?
with Lucas.
Yeah, right. And then you asked me a separate question, and I have a separate answer. 697,
Del
Del
Sim.
Sim. He
Look, I
won.
messaged him today. It was all the motivation he needs. He's like, Joey messaged me. I'm going to bear down. I'm going to play well. In fact, I think he plays at 10 o'clock Eastern time, I believe,
So
in
right
his
now,
first round match. And I looked at his bracket and it didn't look killer. I actually wanted to go with, I don't know if you heard of this kid, Dylan Spore. Have you heard of him?
never.
Real
Never.
good player out of Pennsylvania, up and coming player, younger guy. Um, he ends up winning his first round match against a guy I never heard of, 9-8. So it kind of turned me off a little bit. Maybe he's struggling to get adjusted there, but he's a real
So
solid
your
player.
scoreboard. See, I'm looking at just names and numbers here, and just in here, and you're over there checking the scoreboard.
Yeah. Well, Del Sim
Who
plays
was your
Rick
pick
Miller
then?
first round. Then I'll play the winner of Donnie Mills and Mike Yednak. And then if he could have a third round rematch of that pro that he did beat in the finals, Thorsten Holman. We already know he's beaten him before. So I like
Well,
Del
they were
Sim.
playing. They were playing 8 ball, Joe. I mean,
Oh,
I'm just saying, game matters, son. But
okay.
okay, fair enough. Fair
I'm going
enough.
with Del. And you're not getting Del. You
How
got
do you
Lucas.
go with Dell after I just said him? You can't pick.
You
Why?
said Lucas Werner.
I swear, this guy's just trying to put me on
Varner.
tilt. We've been at
Lucas
this for 14 hours.
Fracasso Werner. That's who you went with.
Well,
You know what? I can't wait to see him on the stream because I've been hearing so many good things about this kid. Can't wait to see him play.
I guess I want to see. I want to see how he's going to play against top talent. That's the biggest. That's the measuring stick there. It's great to be a top regional monster, but if you want to get your wings there, butterfly, you got to play with the big boys.
Well,
So let's see how
Lucas
he
is
does.
playing Dave Fernandez in the first round. Then I'm not sure who those next two would be that he plays, and then possibly Danny Hewitt or Oscar Dominguez in round 3. So
I like Oscar's bracket.
yeah, it's a good bracket. So
He's in a good spot.
So we got our picks. We got our wild card picks. Everything's looking good. Guys, one thing that we decided today is we're trying to put out more content on Patreon. So every day we've been kind of given supposedly a 5-minute question of the day, which is turning into 15, 20, 30. Sometimes we just go
15.
on
It's
and
been
on.
15. Which one was 15? I missed that boat because everyone
Yeah, I
I've
don't
been on
know.
has been 20, 24 minutes plus.
But anyway, the one today we actually posted on Windows Open just to give you guys a taste of what you would get if you were a Patreon supporter. And then I said to Mike, we got a bunch of people that are on there that are already supporting us. We want to get more on there supporting us, help us get to more of these events and do more things. And I said, how about we give something back? And so Mike has some crusty autograph picture over there or something, but I dug into my case and I pulled out. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a Steve Lomax jump cue. Of course you have. It's an amazing jump cue. I bought this from Steve Lomax in Georgia, probably about 10 years ago. Awesome jump cue. Jumps
How
the
old were you,
balls.
Joe? Like 45, 46?
Jumps the balls amazing. So here's what we're going to do. When we get 20 more people that sign up on Patreon, and we have several different tiers, so you can join for just $5 a month. But when we get 20 more people, we'll take those 20 people and the folks that are already in there, and then we'll be giving this puppy away. Okay, I'll send it out to you, give it away. It's in good condition. It's got a few little, little. It's been used, but it still plays amazing. And so Molina actually wanted it.
What?
He wanted to
I
get
told
it,
him.
refinish it, razz it. I'm like,
Listen,
no,
here's
we're
the
giving
deal.
this away to our
If
people.
we don't, how about this, Joey? How about we just put a hard time frame on there, and if we don't get the 20, I'll buy it myself, and I'll do with it as I see fit. How about that? You know, I'll
No,
put
you're
some,
not. Hey,
I'll
we
put
got
some money
people
on there.
asking where's the Patreon. So let me put the link up for you guys so you can see it.
Right in that
I'm
area.
gonna put it in the chat. Patreon, and then also we got a little caption here for you guys to check it out.
We've been trying to get more on top of the ball here. Joey's been a great inspiration. We've been staying on it, and we're gonna figure out more ways to get people to give us ideas and short little, But I tell you, some of the stuff that we've been putting on there, I'm like, man, we got to put this on Windows Open because it's been some funny stuff, man, and some good topics. I feel like as well too.
Yeah, but this was one of the first jump cues I remember that broke down into 3 pieces. So if you're up tight on a ball, you take off this back piece and you can pop right over it, And then if you got a longer one, you put the back piece on. It's also got.
I think these people might know how jump cue works, Joe.
Anyway, I'm just trying to sell it here. I'm in sales.
Just saying, I think they might know how it's.
What do you got there? You got any kind of crusty pictures or something you want to give out?
Well, we got a bet that we're going to post on the reel tomorrow, and we're going to announce that. And you see that right there. We're going to give away another one of those. And I probably listen. I got a ton of memorabilia here, stuff that I like for my personal, and maybe we got something from Efren I can donate and
that'd be cool.
Sign cue ball or something. I got a bunch of stuff, man. Stuff from Texas Open years and signed by a bunch of players and one pocket stuff. You name it. So.
Funny story about this Lomax, Mike. This Lomax, I saw him. It was one of those Viking events in Atlanta. And I went to the Viking event. I played in the tournament, Mr. Q's or something. And I saw him there. And I'm like, Mike Davis had just told me about it because he started using a Lomax. So you're going to get taken away by this bug there. But so I go over to Lomax and I'm like, hey, how much for a jump cue? He's like, actually, I have one right here. He makes custom cues, but he's like, I have one right here. I'll sell to you for, I don't know, $240, something like that. So I was like,
wow,
awesome.
You got it real good.
Yeah. So I go home and I'm playing with my brother and I'm like, here, try this jump cue. My brother tries it. He's jumping all kinds of balls, making balls. He's like, I got to get one of those. So a couple months later, this is like, it had to be like 3 or 4 months later. We go up to Super Billiards Expo. And he did a run of jump cues for Super Billiards Expo. And so my brother's like, I want to get one of those. What'd you say it costs? And I'm like, I don't know, like $240. So he's like, he goes over to talk to Lomax. And Lomax is like, hey, look, I'm selling these as fast as I can sell them for like $360 or something like that. And it was only a few months later. And so my brother got all like upset about it. And he's like, I'm not paying that much. You just sold it to my brother for $240. He's like, well, I'm here and people are buying them.
So the nitty gene runs in the family.
So look, I said to my brother, I said, hey, look, stay here. Let me go talk to the guy. I just saw him in Atlanta. Give me your $240 because my brother can be a little nitty. So I go over there to Lomax and then I just add money to it and gave him like $360 and bought it for my brother. And I said, here, I got you hooked up.
This is why everyone loves you.
Yeah. So anyway. So yeah, we're giving that away on Patreon. Go sign up, become a Patreon supporter. You'll see some of the stuff that we're doing. It's kind of cool on there, trying to find a way to make it fun for everybody. And get you guys hooked up. What else, Mike? Let's see. Patreon. Oh, one of the things you put out today that got shared quite a bit was the Mora Tyler Steyer rematch, 60K in the middle.
Well,
What do you
we
think
all
about that?
know, you know, we all know what happened with Darren. We've seen it all over social media. Darren was supposed to play Tyler originally. That was the match that was set up for pre Derby.
Oh,
A,
that's
per,
right. I forgot about that.
a pretty decent amount of change as well in its own right. Um, and obviously Darren's been in our thoughts and in our prayers, and we hear he's doing better, which is great. He's got a long road ahead of him, but they did find an adjustment, and obviously Tyler and John have now what's a bit of a history. I think both sides like where they're at, and yeah, they're gonna dance again.
I mean, they played in Vegas, and Tyler was winning most of that match. And at the end, John came back and got him right there at the end. It was a very close match. It was right after the Mosconi Cup, I believe. It was between Mosconi Cup and the Tony Shane match. And I thought Tyler was going to win that match. He seemed poised. He seemed in a position to win that match. And John came and got him. Melina, this fly is killing me, bro.
This fly's killing me too, son. No, you know what? I when we had Tyler and Sky on the other day, they told us that, or he told us that they were going to be playing again. Kind of announced it unknowingly on the show, which was great. But he also said that he hadn't been breaking, heads up like that in quite some time, and I believe him because Predator events they're breaking from the side. Even a guy with as big of a break as Tyler has. I think that if he puts a little bit of time and effort, which he will, obviously, especially with this kind of money that's going to be on the line here, you know, John's side's going to like his side, despite Tyler losing the last race. I'm going to go with Tyler on this one. I kind of like the kid.
Yeah, I like Tyler too on this one. Lucas is on the stream now. If you got two monitors, guys, check us out on one, check out Upstate Out on the other, and check out that match. If not, you can catch it afterwards. You're not going to catch that fly. Man who catch fly with chopstick can accomplish anything.
You're aging yourself there, Joe.
I know. Let me get rid of this. Add this.
We
guy
saw
to the
Pinozo
bottom.
in the chat. We're gonna have some more stuff coming on with Mike, and Mike's actually probably gonna try to get us a pretty decent guest here pretty soon. I don't want to put too much out there. Just stay tuned whenever we're going live, and we'll try to announce it and promote it. And it should be a lot of fun. And also, we got a year-end wrap-up show that we're gonna do with Mike. We haven't had Mike on like in a
Yeah,
while,
where's
man.
Pinozo been? Where you been, Pinozo?
I thought he'd be asleep, right? That's why I didn't even reach out to him, but he's still awake. So, yeah, man. But we're
How do you
excited.
call somebody old without calling him old? You just did it. He's not asleep. 9:16.
Why are you trying to ruin friendships over here, man?
I don't know. It's funny.
No, a lot of
I'm
other
jealous
stuff.
of you and Mike. I'm
That's
jealous
the
of the
reason why.
bond that you two have.
That's the reason why you've been showing up lately. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's the reason why you've been coming around more. No, but there's just pool's in a really good spot. I feel like right now, a ton of events. We're about to hit like another. It feels like we just got through with the gauntlet, and then we have another round just coming right up, man. You have the pre-derby, then the derby, then everyone's taking off right from Louisville and are going to go to the World Championships in Poland right afterwards. So it's yeah, it's going to be a good time right now.
Hey, Mike,
See there,
put us
Mike.
on the view where we can see the chat. I want to have some people hit up the chat here. But before we do, just wanted to let folks know that we are. Wait, what was I going to say? Tomorrow night we're going to be live. So check us out tomorrow night. I got a friend of mine coming on.
Who's going to be live?
We are. You and I.
Me.
We are going to be live tomorrow night.
Ah, okay. What are we doing?
At 8:00 Arizona time, 9:00 Central, 10:00 Eastern. And we're going to be discussing an interesting topic with a friend of mine from the East Coast. And I want to call him an influencer, but he's not because he doesn't try to be an influencer, but he puts out a ton of great information about pool and some really unique things. And he's going to be on the show tomorrow night. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet.
Are you cheating on me, Joey? Is that what's going on here?
Well, I've known this guy a lot longer than you, I got to admit. But I think you guys will enjoy it. You'll enjoy getting the perspective from him. He's a lot of fun. So one thing I want to know what's that?
What's the topic?
Well, we're going to talk about Fargo rate by state.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. That got a lot of shares and a lot of attention. A lot of people complaining. Shockingly, a lot of people who are arguing who state's better. That's going to be a lot of complaining. Fun. Oh, look at the pot calling the kettle black. How do we start the day here, Joey? Huh? How do we start? Joey started at 7 a.m. going on for 8 minutes about Fargo rate and handicap tournaments. That's how my day started anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey
Yeah.
guys, while we go to this next topic, I want to see you guys hit up the chat. Let us know who you think is going to win Turning Stone. I want to see. I think this is kind of wide open. Even though you have this field of haves and have-nots, people who are kind of capable of winning, people who are capable of maybe getting into the money.
Come on, Joe. Don't give me that shit. Okay, let me ask you this: if you were gonna wager $100, or you get if I said you take either Federer or Jason of the field, who are you taking? You can have Federer and Jason or the field.
I think I take the field, to be honest. But if you throw in like Skyler, then I take those three.
God, you really are nitty. So you want 3 out of the top 4, but you won't take the top 2.
I mean, would you?
I would take Federer or Jason. Yeah, I'll take them two
Well,
versus
yeah.
the
I
field.
mean, they are favored to win it. The
Yeah,
equipment
I'll.
looks pretty
I'll.
tough too, to be honest. Looks like 4.25 at least.
I'm.
I
Listen.
got the matchup right now on my other screen here.
What is that? The Lucas match?
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
up
right
one
now,
nothing. I think.
it's tough to watch early on for me. There's a couple of decent matchups, but and
Yeah,
the coverage of it is great.
I was asking you if it was seeded or not because it
I don't think
almost
it
seemed
is,
like it
Joey.
had to be a seeded event because there was no like tough first round matchups. It seemed the toughest one was Brandon Schuff and Vitali, I think.
Yeah. Well, I saw Brandon miss a lot of balls, at least a few crucial balls, and ends up losing 9-5. So,
Yeah.
uh, there's Mike.
Venoso pointed
I
out
need,
my
I
inconsistency.
need you in here with me, Mike. I need you in here, buddy.
Well, we just need him here to point out my inconsistencies.
Oh,
so,
shocking, shocking.
so listen, Mike. One thing that I've noticed in the last 6 months, I want to see if you've noticed it too.
What's that?
I did a reel on this today. I've been walking my neighborhood and walking out here, just getting some exercise, kind of catching the fresh air. But I'm using my little gimbal, which, by the way, I have the upgraded model to what you have, where it actually extends. Did you know that?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
So it's
Oh,
like part selfie stick, part
so
gimbal.
you bought it for me, and then you tell me you cheapened up on which
Yeah, I
option
bought
you
you the
got me.
discounted model.
Okay, sure, fair
I
enough.
bought you the discount, but I got that one. So I've been walking out there and kind of recording and sending a message. And today's message was really about the quality and the abundance of content that I'm seeing people make about pool. Just like folks that I kind of knew, like this Bob Keller guy in Colorado. I had met him because he played on my buddy Chisholm's team out in Vegas. And then all of a sudden he gets into straight pool. He's putting out Facebook videos. He's putting out YouTube videos. Remember the guy, Michael French, that we met in Vegas and then you ended up rooming with him? Poor guy, had to room with you. But now I'm seeing him put up all these different instructional reels and stuff. And I'm like, this is super cool. So many people are putting out content. And we're really getting to a point, I think, where the general public's just going to be inundated with seeing more and more videos about pool and about, interviews that people are doing and all this stuff. And so, like, the message was just trying to encourage people to get more content out there to if they've thought about it, right? Do you know how long I thought about doing Pool Player Podcast before I actually did it? 2
Well,
years. I had the idea for 2 years and I did nothing for 2 years. And then the pandemic came and I said, you know what? Within a week, I decided to do it and I had my first episode out. 1 week. Now, I worked my ass off that 1 week to buy equipment and spend a whole bunch of money and everything. But then, boom, 1 week later, an episode's out. And you'll remember because you used to message me every Sunday for like a year.
I
I would
message you every Sunday.
No, you would message me because you'd be like, "Man, you're always working when I wake up," and I'd be getting videos
Oh
out
yeah,
like
yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah,
one after
yeah.
the next,
That
And
was a
so
long time ago.
the point is, if you're thinking about doing something for pool, if you're thinking about getting content out there and sharing it, and if you just have that notion, do it, do it. This is a great group of people that are doing this kind of stuff. We help each other out. We work together for the most part. Nate Minden would cue it up. He gave me some advice. I gave him some advice. Lil Chris, who has his YouTube channel, we've worked together before. You and I remember that. I'm scared to death to ask you to come on the podcast. I was like, this guy scares me. He's got neck tattoos.
Well,
But then
but
you were like, super chill.
look at how decisions you make can affect the landscape of the industry, right? Because if you don't do it, Mark White may not be doing commentary for CSI right now.
That's right.
Me and you definitely wouldn't be here right now,
That's
right?
right.
There's just a lot of things that have happened because of a decision you made a few years back, and um, you know, I certainly appreciate you, and I love what you do, and I love these guys. You don't know how they're going to go and affect it and bring their own unique perspective and their uniqueness of how they deliver it. Right? Here's my
Look
daughter
at
Mal.
this. Look at this.
This is my baby. But I love it though, and I love the initiative. I think guys come in here with a lot of sincerity, and they they do it because uh, they want to teach people, and they want to inspire, hopefully, and they come from a good place. Um, it was great meeting a lot of these guys. Whenever we went out in Vegas, we got to meet a few people, and just in general, like I mean, hell, I remember when you met Michael French at the BCA, because I was waiting on your ass thing for like a good 20 minutes. Then you finally come back, and I'm like, what the hell happened to you? You tell me the story of this guy, and I'm like half paying attention, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, Joe, you're just late. I was like Mike Davis Jr. was to you, right? And fast forward like 6 months later, I'm rooming with the guy in Aiken, South Carolina, of all places, right, for this Omega event. And he tells me this story about you. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I've heard this story, but from the opposite perspective. And I'm like, you're the guy Joey was talking about, right? So, and now look at him, right? So it's just one thing. And the feedback we've gotten from people, seeing other people take their own drive initiative is just great. And you know what? Like, it takes a certain kind of person to be open to getting critiqued and feedback. Lord knows I get defensive with people and get annoyed with people. But it's great to just be vulnerable and be out there. And yeah, I like it, man.
Yeah, no,
And
I mean, I
kudos to
think
all
there's
them.
so many people. There's probably all these people in here. There's probably 20 or 30 of them that have certain skills that they could add to the pool community. And I'm telling you, it's incredibly rewarding. Just having somebody come up to you like you guys do sometimes and just say, "Hey, we really appreciate what you do." It's awesome. So, and it's helping to grow the sport. So, consider it if you've ever thought of it. I just encourage you to do it. Get out there and try something new, try something different. Actually, it doesn't even have to be new. It just has to be consistent.
Look,
Start doing something. So,
be
anyway,
be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's the number one
yeah,
thing. Listen, I remember starting off doing this, and then back in when was it, like summertime, whenever you had your health scare the first time, I was like, well, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna stop doing the show, and I didn't want to keep on bugging you because you had a lot on your plate, but there was things that people I wanted to talk to and things I thought were relevant that we wanted to do, and I was scared to death. And I still tell people that, I still get nervous and uncomfortable and not want to do it, but you know what? Just jump on in. And you guys,
yeah.
anybody, if a couple of especially me with no technological experience or savviness can do it, anybody can do it.
You
So
just you're faking so bad. You're actually decent with technology, but you don't want to admit it because you try to get me to do all your tech stuff. But we got to talk about some of the stuff. We got people in here, they're making all these comments, and one of the big topics is the fact that Johnny Archer and Oscar are both in Turning Stone, and obviously there's that history there where they played that big set and Johnny didn't fully pay up on that set, which it's a little discouraging. Johnny's been kind of a
I don't know if discouraging is the word that I would use.
well, for me, because you look at somebody like Archer, and when I was growing up, it was somebody that I always looked up to as a player. And when I heard that he kind of stiffed Oscar out of a little bit of money, he
Not
had been on
kind
the
of.
pod.
It didn't kind of do it.
Okay, well, he had been on the podcast and all that, and so I was very surprised by it. And I don't like to judge people because everybody's got their own situation and stuff going on. But yeah, that is kind of awkward. And so I was telling you earlier today, like I wonder if they're actually going to talk or something at that event. Um, if it's, I suspect that Johnny will go up to Oscar and say something like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to make it right." You don't?
I think your head's on. I mean, I'm a little different because I'm friends with Oscar and I've been privy to a lot of the stuff that as the communication that's gone on over the last couple of years. Um, no, not for a second. I don't think that. I think maybe Johnny intended to do things right, or came from a place where he justified it in his head. But no, I'm over it, and um, I think I think that there's a lot of people in the pool world, given Johnny's history, who just try to protect him. And I heard it today when I was listening to Upstate Al stream. Hey guys, we're not going to talk about this in the chat. And they're coming out openly saying it and just protecting the guy. For me, Johnny's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. Whatever else you want to go and call him, but he stole from Oscar. You can call him that too. And I don't care how. And for me, I don't care how you paint it. I'm gonna call a spade no matter what. And it's unfortunate and it sucks that that's what it came to. But I think Oscar's given him a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities to make it right, even make it right on a percentage of what he owed. And to show up to that event, even though he's won it before, and because he's Johnny, I don't give a shit about that. I think the guy just doesn't care, and it's for me, it's just completely disrespectful. Just because if you owe a guy $6,000, but you can go and travel to a tournament where you really ain't got a chance to snap it off, send that 1,500 over there and say, hey, I'm sorry, man, but I'll keep on trying to make it right.
Well, one thing's for sure: if Oscar doesn't win the tournament, he's rooting for Johnny, so he can be right there when he wins.
You're gonna come over here waiting in the back, seeing that match.
You know how it goes. I had a guy owe me 400 one time, and we were in a tournament together, and I'm like, man, I hope this sucker wins this tournament because I'm going to be standing right there to collect.
I remember hearing stories about who was it? The great one pocket player, man, who's like infamous for owing everyone on earth. He had a heart attack. It was just I can't remember his name. It's just slipping me right now. But it's like the guy wins a tournament, and there's like a line of people of like 15 people that he owes that were just anxiously waiting for him to get the check and to get the money, and he does it, and then just does this little like worm move to get the hell out of here. So yeah.
I had a guy one time. I beat this guy. Beat him out of $400. We go to the bank. He's like, I got to go to the ATM. So first of all, I'm like, man, that's messed up. Like you played me. You didn't have any cash. He's like, okay, they don't have an ATM here. You got to follow me to the ATM. I follow him to the ATM. He tells me his account's frozen because of a poker withdrawal he did from online poker. So he's like, let's try to go to this other ATM. I'll try to do this. We went to like 3 ATMs. I didn't get paid. He did come correct though and pay me the next time he saw me, but it was just kind of shady. But hey, one of our folks in the chat was asking about our take on the Joe Rogan interview with Fedor Gorst. We killed that in an earlier episode where we talked a lot about that, so you can go back and check that out. But I think our overall take was that it was good for pool. I know a lot of people had said it may have been bad for pool because Joe kept going back to the gambling side, kept going back to the drugs and the shady side of pool. But coming from the perspective of Joe Rogan, you're trying to have this appeal to a broad audience, right? So, I can see why he did that. He's trying to make it interesting. He's trying to bring out the stories and that kind of content. And Fedor's an amazing player, but you can only talk about how great a player he is for so long, and then you got to get into other aspects. And I think Rogan is kind of interested in that side of it, that subculture. And so I didn't think it was terrible for pool. I thought it was actually good for pool because when you look at his following, you can't argue with it.
Whether people want to admit it or not, that's the general public likes hearing about that stuff when they talk about pool. So you have to figure out a way to get them engaged, get them interested, and then let them know about the great things that we have going on as well. And I think they did as good of a job as you can, all things considered. I don't want to I never wanted to just complain about shit just for the sake of complaining, right? I think that just that reach alone and the amount of views that his podcasts get on a daily, monthly, and then for eternity, I think is going to be great for the game overall. I think there's a lot of momentum right now in pool. I've been hearing stories about players. I think I mentioned this the other day about outside the industry sponsors coming in.
Yeah. And can you share anything about that yet? No.
I can't.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
But
thanks for nothing.
But hey, listen, you got Jeanette on ESPN, you got Shane and Jason and Alex on 60 Minutes, and then you have Federer on all within the same like 30 days. It's
Yeah.
great, and I don't remember anything like that being on the mainstream and being so vogue. And pool's vogue right now. So, and this is in a time when a lot of people are home too. So that means that, in other words, like they're at the house with their families and they're watching television. So I'm hoping it springboards kids. And I'll tell you something. I think I sent you this, Joey. But I'm friends with guys who are room owners, and they sent me like they showed me their traffic pre Joe Rogan, right? Like their the statistics that their
I
website
heard
got
about this.
pre Joe Rogan, and then they showed me afterwards, and it was just remarkable. And they're saying like on Wednesdays, there's kids showing up to the pool room now. There's more foot traffic in there on what would have been off days. So maybe
It's
it's
like
too
the Color of
soon.
Money effect. When the Color of Money came out, and Rogan even talked about it, how pool kind of had this resurgence. And yeah, I think we're there. I think we're getting there for
I don't
sure.
want to get my hopes up, but I'm optimistic. You know,
Yeah, me too. But one thing that I'm not optimistic anymore about is the fact I have a Pool Player Podcast Instagram account. I don't use it too often. I got to get better at it. But in fact, Instagram's just weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old for it, but I just don't get it
you
the
are old.
same way I get like some of the other platforms. My wife's
Well,
pretty
you're
good at
you're
it. And
reeling you're reeling and dealing now, Joey.
it's
I mean,
yeah,
you're
but I'm
growing.
just terrible at Instagram. I'm like an Instagram noob. But anyway, when the Rogan interview came out, I messaged him. It was the second message I sent him. I had already sent him one trying to get him to come on the podcast and nothing. And so I messaged him, right? And this has been like 7 days. So I've been checking every day to see if I have a message in there. And I
A
haven't
little
gotten any
thirsty.
messages on the Instagram account, right? So today I put out a reel and where you mentioned Tyler Steyer, remember that whole thing that
Oh
went on
yeah.
my Instagram, right? And so I tagged Tyler Steyer on it. And so I checked the Instagram today, and all of a sudden I see a one by the messages thing. And I'm like, yes, it's Rogan. And I opened it up, and it's Tyler Steyer with like smiley face, smiley face. And I'm like,
On the
dang
real.
it. Yeah. I'm like, dang it. I thought for sure it was Rogan. But yeah,
I'd
Joe
love to get him
Rogan,
on.
get on the show. We're going to have a lot of fun, man.
I mean, he
Anyway.
mentioned a podcast, but it wasn't ours, so I might be a
Yeah.
little salty about it. But
Hey, by the
it's
way, this weekend, I'll try to put information out so that everybody knows about it. This weekend in Arizona, we're having the Southwest Desert Cup, and the Southwest Desert Cup is it's one of our Moscone style events. Uh, Nevada plays Arizona, and so this year Nevada is coming down to Arizona to play some of the best players in Arizona. And so there's a Fargo cap on it, but it's high
uh-oh.
enough where you still get enough quality players. So like Jovan Bustamante is on the Arizona team. Um, Ronnie Wiseman's on the Vegas team. So there's some good players. It's going to be streamed. It's at Bull Shooters in Phoenix. So if you're in Phoenix this weekend or anywhere near there and you want to see a good match, come check it out. And then when I get the stream information, I'll go ahead and share that on Windows so people
Who's
can
on the
watch it.
team, Joey?
Shoot, you had to ask me this, didn't
You
you?
had like one. You mentioned like one guy. You mentioned just Joven. That's it.
Hold on, let me find it.
I'm trying to look it up
Just
here.
saw a post about it today, and I haven't really been following as I should. Each team has to have one female. So Arizona has Sarah Miller, who, by the way, she's been playing in WPBA events. And when I played on the Saguaro Cup, which is the east and west side of Phoenix, several years ago, Sarah Miller was like the MVP of the tournament. I mean, she just played amazing. So let me see if I can find it here.
We got other people that we've been reaching out to while Joey's doing some more some digging out there as far as guests. We're supposed to get FSR for the end of the year. We dogged that, but we're still going to try to get them on. Reached out to Shannon Dalton, and it was the best thing ever because I told Joey, I said, I'm going to reach out to Shannon Dalton ahead of the Derby. And Joey's like, Mike, he's not going to do it. I tried a few times. He's just not going to do it. I sent Shannon a message, and he got back to me saying he'd love to do it. It would just have to be in the evening, which, of course, here we are. So we're going to try to schedule that one as well. Who was the other one, Joe? I feel like we're missing a couple. Bergman we reached out to. I need to follow up with him because he was down to come on, and now would be a good time to talk to Justin as well. And then, yeah, if I go out to the Derby, man, y'all better watch out. We're not going to have a booth, but I'm going to have this bad boy and a new phone, and we're going to go out there and do some damage, son, as best we can. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll probably be here. I'm still 50-50. I might make it out there. But
come on,
if I
Joe.
don't If I don't, I will be here kind of queuing up the podcast, and then we'll have Mike coming in on location, and we'll be having some fun. I can't find it right now, Mike, but I out of memory, Jovan Bustamante, Chris Lulick, who's like a 700 player out here, good player. The captains Jack Circa, Sarah Miller. Can't remember who else. But then the Vegas team is Ronnie Wiseman, Katie Scott. You know Katie from CSI.
CSI. Yeah.
Yeah, and then shoot. I'll find it. I'll let you know. But anyway, there's going to be some good pool being played. It's going to be played on the pit tables at Bull Shooters. You've seen those tables before, Mike, on streams.
I
4
was
and
gonna say
8.
I never been there, but okay.
Yeah, but you've seen it
Hey,
on streams. 4 and 8. Yeah. Heck. Oh, that's right. Okay. So the other thing we got to talk about, just talked to CSI today, and we will be going out to the CSI Expo again. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a booth out there. We're just not sure the location of it yet, but we're positioning and trying to get in the big ballroom near the pro arena so we can grab the pros right after they come out and chat it up with them and see how things are going. If you guys remember last year, we had some great interviews out there. Really great interviews, a lot of fun. We interviewed the Coe brothers. I don't think they
Alex.
understood a
No,
word
no,
we
we're gonna get
said.
no. We're gonna get it if we go out there. We're getting him again, and I'm getting without a translator this time. I'm getting just Big Cole and probably by himself because he can answer everything and anything that we
Yeah,
need.
he
So, and
actually
his
did
English
better
is
than the
decent enough.
translator.
Yeah. So, oh look, this is the one. I just got a text message about this. So, breaking news: my buddy Sean Santoro is tied for Mosconi Cup points after round one. So I saw him down like 8-7 a minute ago. So I guess he won. So
Oh, nice.
congratulations, Pancake. We'll see you at the Derby, buddy.
Let's see.
He's gonna be
Let's see
shocking the
any
world.
score updates. Let's see some score updates real quick.
Anyone know why no SVB?
Billy
we
Thorpe's
just
trailing 3-2 to Jacques Bouchard. Sounds like a
I'll,
French Canadian. I don't know him.
I'll take Billy and lay a game from here. How about that?
Sean Wilkie's tied with Grayson Vaughan. Jonathan Smith 3-1 over Kevin Guimond. Is
That's
Kevin
fun.
still living in Texas?
I thought he was in Louisiana. Kevin can play
Okay.
some. I don't
Hey,
know who
you
the
ready
other
to get
guy
on
is.
tilt? You ready to get
Yeah.
on tilt?
Yeah.
Jeremy Sasse against Jed. A 5-0 against Jed Jessen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do
I
it to
put
me,
you on
son.
tilt every time I say Sasse. Pat
Don't do it
Fleming
to
up
me.
3-2 on Susie Wong. 2-2, Bobby Hilton and Tony Antone. Marco Cam and Carolyn Powell knotted at 2 apiece. Del Sim up 3-1. My wild card pick, not yours.
Dude, that's not your wild card pick, Joe. That's not your wild card pick.
Dark horse pick.
That's not your dark horse. You don't have Del Sim in anything. You know?
Yes, I do. You have Lucas.
No. Oh,
Donnie
Sean says he
Mills
was down
2-1 over
7-2.
Michael Yednak. Thorsten Holman 4-0 over Sean
Hey,
Jackson.
that's not a bad matchup actually. I like Donnie though. Oh, there goes. Oh, Shane's in the chat saying he's home fishing. So great. If you heard the story,
Hey,
from
did you
earlier,
see that 30?
he's
Hey,
for
let
sure
me tell
never
you,
come back on.
Shane, I really enjoyed watching the video of you pulling in that 36 incher. That was super cool. You know, I think he Hollywooded a little bit, did a little
You're just the
Hollywood.
worst. You throw me under the bus, and then now you're just kissing ass over here. And then
No. He did a little Hollywood on that. He could have pulled that fish in like 30 seconds, but he was like, but it was fun watching it. It's 36 inches, big fish. It was pretty cool. We got
tell him how you pick Sky to win the world championship, buddy. Tell him how you did
What's
that.
that?
Tell him how you pick Sky to win the world championship.
That's okay.
What's that?
He got his world championship. I'm sure he's rooting for Sky too if he doesn't win. Okay, Andrew Herbert up 4-0 over Don Polo. Lucas Furter is tied 2-2 with Dave Fernandez. Linda Chung trailing Dave Schlemperis 3-1. Oscar Dominguez cruising 5-0 over Thomas Brinton. And Danny Hewitt cruising 7-0 over Fred Goki. Those are the updates.
Well, it's going to be a lot of guys trying to make moves on the Mosconi Cup side for getting a good start. Obviously, I'm rooting for Oscar and a few other young Americans that are there. I think it's going to be pretty interesting because, the format and the rules really lend itself to be a little more open, although I would still favor the chalk and take them if I was gambling some. But, I mean, look, man, you go on a bit of a run, you get your break dialed in, Buckle up,
Oh,
boys.
I so dogged this. You know who I should have taken as my dark horse?
Well, you don't
Kevin
have one.
West.
You don't
Kevin
have one,
West.
so you can take Kevin since you don't have one. I'm just
Kevin
saying.
won the first round. Now he plays Alvin Thomas. Then he plays the winner of Landon Hollingsworth. And then he plays the winner of Frank Hernandez and Dylan Spoor, or one of those guys. Kevin West is going to round 4. I'm feeling it.
Who do you like
Anyway.
in Shane and Tony Part 2? Tell them the truth.
Well, I don't know. You know what? It kind of surprised me that Shane won that match. You know, I'm just being honest, because I really thought that Tony would play tight, and I really thought that Tony would outmaneuver him. So I think if Tony kind of regroups, goes back to the drawing board, and kind of figures out some of the mistakes that he made, I think Tony should do well the second time he play. Will he win? I don't know. It's a lot of firepower to overcome.
It's a
So
lot of firepower to overcome. You hit the nail on the head for sure. I think if if Tony played like he played against Chip out in New Orleans when they had that real big bet, like 6 figures, I think it was somewhere around there, and Tony just completely changed his game, I think then he can frustrate Shane and really try to slow him down. But
yeah.
that's like, I don't know.
Well, look,
We'll
we know
see.
Shane doesn't love one pocket. If Tony turns it into a game that he's going to hate, kind of like Chip does, right? When Chip puts the lockdown on you and starts pushing balls up table,
Yeah, well, look how well that worked out for Chip when he played Shane.
Yeah, well,
A win is a win, he said.
I'm just saying, if you can change the dynamic of that game, I think Tony's got a better chance. But I thought Tony would win the first time, so I'll take my losses there. So
Well,
anyway.
we can fire a nice dinner on it or something, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Fire
You always
something.
want the favorite anyway.
A favorite? Me taking Shane as the favorite?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Who do you like? Who do you like winning the all around this year? By the way.
At Derby?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? How about this? Save it for the real for the morning. Since we're gonna do the real again.
Yeah, Shane said a win is a win. I like that. Tony had that big long post about losing money at the casino and about this and that and bet changing all this stuff. And then Shane was like, I got lucky. Or I got lucky. That was funny.
I think it's time to get Alex on. That's what I think it is. I think it's time to get Alex and see what he wants to do.
I wonder if Shane would play Alex.
Well,
that would be intriguing.
No. We don't even know if Shane's going to be at the Derby, so we got to get there first. All right, but listen, I think people are missing him there. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are missing him there at Turning Stone. A lot of people who are glad that his ass ain't there at Turning Stone. I think he's in a pretty comfortable spot, so he's not worried about getting any kind of points this year. I think he's going to be focused more on getting this right and getting back into feeling more free and not as worn down as he was towards the end of the year. I think that as long as he's there to defend his title in Poland in a month from now, I think he'll be all right, and I think he's got a good chance at it too. So
awesome.
I think it's time to go and cut the show though, Joe, because I got daddy duties to go and attend to.
It seems like it. Where'd she get all that hair from?
you got jokes, do you? Huh? Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining. Hey, don't forget, if you can, support us on Patreon. We got exclusive content coming. Got another video already made coming out tomorrow morning. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. So plus you can win this Lomax jump cue. So next 20 people to sign up, we're going to raffle this off.
Later, y'all.
Hey, see you guys.